Hi everyone, Pam here from Creative Homescaping. Welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, I generally post several videos a week on how to creatively manage and decorate your home. Today's video is my seasonal wreath challenge for spring 2020. I will have a playlist linked in the iCards above and in the description box down below, so please check it out. You can see all kinds of wonderful wreaths from the participants. And if you'd like to see how I put together my spring wreath, then stay tuned. So, the materials I'm going to be using for this wreath are this, I think it's a grapevine wreath, although it's very tightly woven and it's also flat. And then I just have it sitting on this plate stand, and I've put a cooling rack in front of it so that I can rest this on there without it toppling over. And on the form, I don't know if you can see this, but I have put a zip tie through the wreath and the wire that's holding the wreath together about midway up the side, because I want to do a spray type arrangement on the wreath. Now the other materials I'm going to be using are these fake eucalyptus branches from Walmart. I've used these in quite a bit of my decor in the fall and in the holiday season. I also have some yellow tulips from Walmart. I have a couple of bunches of those. These are the larger size. There is a smaller size also, but I like this bright yellow sunny color. And then this is some faux baby's breath, and I am going to be trying to split these stems apart. You can see they're just, I think, melted together, so I think they come off. You just can kind of peel them off like that. So I'm going to be peeling them off individually so that I can place them exactly where I want to place the bundles rather than keeping them as one large bush. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then we'll get started. I also have a variety of zip ties here, some wire snips, and some scissors in case I need them. So let's get going, shall we? So the first thing I want to do is take my eucalyptus. I bent the stem up. I don't want to cut it off because I want to be able to reuse this. And I'm just going to try to mimic the curve a little bit of the wreath form. And I want to put the base of this stem where the leaves start around where the zip tie is. So I'm going to turn one way, and then I'm going to do the same thing with the other one, but going the other direction. So I want this one to bend up this way. So I need to get that a little more bent. And then what I'm going to do is hold the two of them together so that their bases are lined up. Pull the branches or the leaves in front of them like so. And I'm going to gather them in the middle. And then I'm going to build my display off of a swag like this. So the next thing I want to put on is some baby's breath. I'm going to put, I think, one bunch or two bunches towards the back like so, and then I'm keeping the tulips in one bundle like this, so it'll look like that on the wreath form. And then I'm going to do the same thing going the other direction, but I'm going to do that before with the baby's breath before I put the tulips on. So the same thing going the other direction, keeping a hold of it in my hand, and then I am going to take the tulips. I'm trying to push all the leaves up to the top. Now I must say these tulips are different than the ones they had last year at Walmart. The ones last year had a tube for a stem with wires running through them. They looked a lot more natural than these do, the way tulips really grow. Tulips don't have such a narrow stem as this. But the flower themselves look okay. So then I'm going to put the tulips on the base like so. Same thing with this one, making sure that the tallest tulip is towards the back of the arrangement. And then I'm just going to take one more little bundle of the baby's breath and put it in front like that. And then another little bundle going the other way, like so. And then what I'm going to do is take these shorter stems of eucalyptus that I have, which I know I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take a zip tie, sneak it under this whole group of florals that I'm holding here, and I'm going to zip tie all of this together first. Okay, like so. When you're using zip ties, you want to put the end of the zip tie through the flat side of the head of the zip tie so that it will zip it up. Okay, so I've got one in the middle here, like so. I think that'll be holding it tight enough, particularly since when I put it on the wreath, it'll have another zip tie on it. So I'm going to make sure I have room for that. I'm going to take my wire cutters here and just snip that off. And then try to bend it some more, like this. And the reason I'm using zip ties rather than hot glue is I want to be able to reuse these sometimes. So if I use the zip ties, then it's much easier to remove them than it would be if I were to use hot glue, and it won't damage anything. And now I'm just putting it onto the wreath with that other zip tie. And it's on there. You can see it's holding itself. Turn around so the flat side's on there. Okay. Now, these don't want to stay over this way very well. So what I think I'm going to do is, in an area that doesn't show on the form here, is I'm going to take another zip tie and hopefully it'll blend in, and it should hold the stalk of the eucalyptus in place. Like this. And just snip that off. And then do the same thing on the bottom. I'm going to just turn it towards me for a minute here so that I can do that. Now, I have some little pieces that I had cut shorter before of the same type of eucalyptus. I'm just going to shove those into the wreath form to fill in maybe some bare spots. Holding it up so I can kind of see how it looks from a distance. I want some of them to come out that way. And let's see. You might want to have you come down a little bit. I might want some right here. I'm just taking all the little pieces I have and I'm going to use them up. So I have this yellow ribbon. It's kind of a plaid with muted yellow tones to it. I actually got this after fall season was over from Joanne, and it was, I think, 75 or 90% off at the time. So it has 12 feet on it. It was normally $6, but I know I didn't pay that for it. And I am just going to make a simple bow. This is a bow my mother taught me. I'm going to see about how big I want the loops to be for the wreath. Because I don't want it to be too big, but I just want, okay, I think that'll look about right. So what you're going to do is, this ribbon is the same on both sides, but if you had a ribbon that was one-sided. You want the right side facing out, and then you're going to take a length of ribbon about twice as long as the loops you want, and you're just going to start folding it over on itself like this. And I always count the number of loops once I've got it folded over a few times. And you want to end with, this has a cut end right now at this end, so I want to end with the cut end down at the other end, but I want to make sure I have at least 3 full loops on each side. And I think I may go 4 loops on this one. So I have 3 right now. I'll do 1 more. That way it'll make a nice full bow. And then I'm just going to cut it off here. And I've already chevroned the ends on the other side, so I'm going to do the same thing on this side. You just fold it in half lengthwise and then cut at an angle, 45-degree angle. And you'll end up with that chevron. Now, this is the part that makes the bow easy. You're going to take this bundle of coiled up ribbon and then fold it in half the short way in on itself again. And then you're going to need some sturdy scissors for this. You're going to want to take out a little notch from each corner. And this might be a little thick to do it this way. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut in the notch about midway. And you don't want to go too far into the ribbon because you don't want to cut all the way through the middle of your material. But the reason you want to make the notch is that when you gather it up in the center, it will make it a lot easier to do if you don't have such amount of bulk in the middle of the ribbon. So just cut a V shape into the side of the ribbon at the midpoint. And then you should have something that looks like that. Can you see the notches? One on each side. Now, I am going to, normally I use pipe cleaners for my bows, but in case I want to use them over, but because I did notch this one, I won't be using this for anything but this simple bow. So I will keep this made as a bow, so I'm going to zip tie it together. But you can use floral wire, you can use pipe cleaners, you can use another piece of ribbon or a narrower piece of ribbon, but like I said, I'm going to zip tie this one. And then you start fluffing. So I like to pull things generally from the center first. So I usually go one way on one side and then the other, and I start from the inside, go one way, and then pull again and go the other way, and then pull again and go the opposite. That way it creates some volume for the ribbon, and they stay separate from each other. They won't try to go back if you pull them that direction. Opposite. So now here I've got the tail going this way on one side, so I'm going to pull the tail that's on the inside of the loops and make it come out the other way. So I'm going to go inside one side, inside to the other direction, inside to that direction, and then the last ones. Like this. Now, I'm going to sort of bunch this up. You know what I should have done? I should have put my pipe cleaner into the zip tie, and I didn't do that. So now I'm going to try to feed it through. But I pulled this really tightly. So maybe what I'm going to do, because I did want to put this last little bit of baby's breath and this piece of eucalyptus on here, I'm going to snip the baby's breath down pretty short, along with the eucalyptus. And I am going to use a pipe cleaner to attach both of those and feed it through the greenery. And I do have a green pipe cleaner for this to help it try to blend in a little bit. So then I can put that on, and then I will use the pipe cleaner to adhere it to the wreath. Take it off like that. Now I'm taking my wreath and I'm refluffing the bow in the center. And then it's finished. So I'll hang it up on a wall and show you what it looks like. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching me put together my wreath for spring. And again, please be sure to check out the playlist of all the other participants. I hope you enjoyed watching this, and I look forward to seeing all of you next time. And if you are new to my channel, why don't you consider subscribing? You can do so by clicking on the icon in the corner of this video or the subscribe button in the description box down below. I want to thank all of you from the bottom of my heart, both my existing subscribers and my new subscribers, and I really appreciate you tuning in to watch this, and I look forward to having you all come back next time. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.